Hey, to all my female baggage droppers out there, I have a question for you. Do you like gold or silver? Well, at Brienne and Company Jewelry Store, you can find anything that you like. That's right. Brienne and Company is a jewelry boutique that has durable minimalist jewelry. She uses genuine pearls, local shells and sea glass, natural gemstones, and of course, precious metals. And these are all quality handcrafted designs by Brienne Light herself. Go and visit her at her website, brienneandco.com, or go to her Instagram that's always popping at Brienne and Company. Thanks, Brienne. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast. With me, your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork, and we have an outstanding guest today. But first, I want to ask you all to please subscribe and hit the like button if you are out there on Facebook or YouTube. And also, if you're on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback and subscribe as well. This is where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. And now I bring to you a brother from another mother. I tell you what, this is a kindred spirit of mine, Emilio Osaria. Now, Emilio is from North Jersey, Union City, but he lived in Puerto Rico at one time, came back. But you know what? Through all these shifts and moves throughout his life, he used curiosity as a tool. And that had got him his first job in a grocery store as a butcher when he was like 13 years old and decided to be an entrepreneur. He said he put down the knife and decided to be an entrepreneur at 15 years old, drawing people's portraits, and he's had quite a few businesses. He even stayed in corporate America learning program development. This man is smart, y'all. Better listen up. Now and then he started coaching employees and leaders and started a life coaching business, which evolved into Curiosity Led. He is now the CEO of Curiosity Led and has the Curiosity Led podcast, and which Curiosity Led focuses on helping people get the skills and tools they need so they can prioritize, organize, and optimize their performance. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Emilio Osaria. What's up?
All right, now what's going on? What's going on, man? Thanks for that intro. I didn't even know my life was like that. That's awesome. I love that.
You cool like that, bro. You cool like that, right?
There we go, man.
Hey, I tell you what, you guys, Emilio is just a fascinating guy. Ever since like we met each other, we clicked, and I just have been inspired by him. Yesterday, I was on his podcast, the Curiosity Led podcast, and he was so clean with his podcast. Yo, y'all got to check it out. But let's know a bit of your journey, man, as far as where you're from and how'd you get to where you are now.
Sure, man. So I'll give you the highlight reels, and we could dig in a little bit if you want. So like you said, yeah, I'm originally from actually, before that, let me thank you for having me on. Do the right thing here. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
See, you see how amazing this guy
is? Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. So like Charles said, I got started my life right in North Jersey. Grew up in Union City, born in Secaucus, and just lived my life there like a lot of normal kids in the hood would. We grew up extremely poor. Yeah, I mean extremely poor. Both my parents had some challenges. We'll say it that way. And so at 12 years old, I had to get my first job. I had no idea how to get a job. I think the legal age was like 11, and I was like 12 years old, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get a job. So I went and found the only job I could, and it wasn't as a butcher. It was just butchering, like cutting up chickens to put in the butcher case. But that's it. Like, couldn't butcher the big stuff or use the machines or none of that cool stuff. But started with that, and I started developing this reflex for curiosity, and I realized it's really a hack to learning things really, really fast. And what keeps people from it is that facing a situation or asking yourself a question that you don't have a prepared answer for puts you almost in front of a chasm. And you just have to have the courage to step off the chasm and trust that something else will come along. It's a way of figuring it out that uses your strengths. But anyway, more on that later. So 12 years old here. I'm I figured out how to get this job. I just pretty much, talked to the friends of the family, who knew who. Sure enough, somebody knew somebody. Got my first job. Also when I was younger, like I said, my parents had some issues, right? So we were raised by my mom. It was me and my sister.
Excuse me, time
And
out 1 second.
yeah, man.
So, like, did you go out there and actively ask for that job?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just, it was just a matter of going out and doing it. It was just being curious. Would somebody be willing? Right? Because the most you see kids my age or kids at that age do is like bag groceries. You know what I mean? So now I had to see, okay, well, what would people like want someone my age to do? Right. So I took bagging groceries and I'm thinking, all right, well, I can also take out garbage, right? Wash some plates, right? Like clean up and do these. I'm like, all right, somebody has got to value these skills. So that's what I went asking, looking around if they needed somebody to do any of those things. And then, yeah, after I got my first job, which didn't take long at all, it was, just a matter of learning other skills, right? So with that, I took that. It even helped in my home life. So like I said, we're raised by my mom, but there was a point where we had a lot of money troubles. So I'm this kid and I'm like, all right, give me your paycheck. And I created the budget for the house when I was younger.
You created the budget.
I created the budget.
Wait. So you said you were 12, 13. So that is what so you're in 8th grade. That's okay. 8th grade education.
About 8th grade. Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's 5th grade math. I mean, it's, right. But see, that's the thing. It's like I was telling you yesterday, is like, that's why information does not equal transformation.
Yeah.
Because people may know it, but don't take action. So, knowledge is power, sure, as long as it's applied. Otherwise, it's just as useless as any other random bit of info. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So, yeah, man. So, moral of that part of the story is that, curiosity was a huge part when I was growing up. It's, working so young and, dealing with adult problems very young. It put me in a weird space, right? Because I was too mature for kids my own age, but too immature for people older than me. You know what I'm saying? I know there are people out there who feel me on this. I know I'm not the only one.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And we, a lot of us had to do that. So, being that my dad wasn't around and, I had to be the man of the house at a young age, it forced me to be resilient and to stay curious, because if I stopped being curious, I stopped growing.
When did you see that it was like curiosity that was carrying you forward? When did you see that was your superpower?
I mean, not for many years later, I'll be honest with you, but it's just little things that happen. So if we fast forward to 15, right? So we're talking at my first job at 12, right? And I'm staying working. I haven't not had a job since. I don't mean not had a job in the sense of work, but I've always had money coming in. That's what I'm saying, right?
Hustler.
So yeah, you already know. So basically from when I was 15, again, it was curiosity. It's like, okay, so I see people making money and not having to work for it. How do they do that? So just if you have a skill that people don't have but can use the result of, they'll usually pay you something for it. So that's where the portraits got started. I was already drawing and was writing poetry, doing a bunch of stuff, right?
When I was a kid. Creative.
Yeah, very creative, man, very creative. So I basically took, what I created and just asked people and see who would want to buy it. And that's when I, started to understand, what selling to a particular type of person was, right? How to talk to people, because it wasn't really about the drawing. It was about that connection and building that relationship. Right. So from then on, I've always had a business since I was 15 to some degree.
Yeah, but you also said that you had dabbled in corporate America learning program development. So
absolutely,
tell us about that transition into, once again, getting a job, and did you have a side hustle on top of that job as well?
All right, that's a good question. So so for corporate America, so the types of jobs I had were pretty much blue collar up until I was like 25, and oh my god, this place was like it was the repair shop that it was the contractor supply company that time forgot. I mean, we didn't have a cash register, it was a cash box. The lock was broken, of course, but that's okay because you're expected to fist fight somebody if they try and steal from you. We had customer cards that you had to stamp on a carbon copy receipt. Man, listen, we had bricks in that place that were from the Great Depression, and I am telling no lie. Like it would anyway. Point to that is, so just to give you an idea of the type of environment, right? I was working in, I was, basically a yard guy with fixed rental equipment, sometimes moonlight and fix big machines, machine parts, things like that. But in 2008, when things got a little rough out there, I looked at my life and I was like, you know what? Like being curious about how to survive has got me this far, right? Because I went from absolutely no experience doing any of that kind of work. Within a year, I mastered pretty much everything. You know what I mean? But it was just staying curious, right? Staying busy. So, but what I thought was, okay, I have this dream, right, that I want to move to California. And, I had things I wanted to do out there. So I'm like, okay, so I quit my job. And, well, be more accurate, they were going to lay me off anyway. But so I was like, all right, so let me just quit. And I applied for this job in San Francisco, right, in UCSF. This is University of California out there, and it was to be a lab assistant, right?
Wow.
So yeah. Again, no experience there, but I went in, I applied, flew back, 3,000 miles each way, or 3,500, whatever it is. And went back and forth, got the job, right? So I ended up kind of putting all my stuff in storage and I was out.
Bruh, what on the application or what on your application, in your resume, or during the interview did you say or do in order to get this position that you had no experience with?
All right, now, in order to learn more, I do have a program that I developed around that. It's called the 30-Day Dream Job. You can find more information at Curiosity Lab. No, but so I had to do the plug. No, but that's a great question, and that's exactly why I created that program, is because it's not what's on the resume or what I say in the interview. It's how big of a problem I could solve. That's what I learned by being an entrepreneur when I was young. It's
wow.
We completely lose sight that we're dealing with people. It's not a job or an organization. It's another person that has problems, and they're looking for somebody to solve their problem. Like I'll give you one that you hear in interviews all the time, and they really don't mean what they ask. Like, so tell me about yourself, right? Nobody cares. I'm just going to be raw with you. You know what I'm saying? People don't care. What they're actually asking you is, what are you going to do for me? That's what they're asking. So if you're on an interview, right, and this even goes with a sales call, right? Like when people are asking you about your product and about what you do or whatnot, it's the same thing, right? So basically what you want to do is state your information to a well-researched problem. Like, you should know if you're, for example, going for, I don't know, a supervisor role, right? So that's entry-level management. So that supervisors are solving particular problems like managing workflow, approving timesheets, onboarding and training new employees, right? The very, very basics. As you go up in the rungs, there are bigger problems, hence the bigger ticket or the bigger price tag. Just like you're selling a product, same thing. So that's basically how I did it. I went in, but I do have experience fixing equipment. So that experience transferred over a little bit because I was able to identify certain things. Like, I looked up, well, what are the basic things that are in a lab, right? So the basic components, so like a chemical hood, if you have a cryogenic station, you have your freezers, all that, right? And then what they do. So if you look that information up, you'll have enough to prep you to at least ask good questions.
Wow. What made you? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Nah, man, please.
What made you look for that though? Just being curious. Just your
Because
mind went to another level of what problem I can solve.
like I am obsessively curious over my customer, my client. My client is anybody who's in front of me. Like, and this is just something that I believe personally. If you don't treat people with good customer service, then you've already lost half of the meaning of you being here.
100%.
It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're social animals, and very rarely do we obsess over other people. I'm gonna give you one here. You can keep this in the main one or put this in in the Patreon, or if you got another avenue there. No, but for real, like so with relationships, right? Any relationship, you and your boss, you and a customer, you and your spouse, there are three gateways, three levels that we all must go through, right? So I refer to them as gateways because we try and skip steps. So I'll give you an example. Level one is you meet my needs. What are you going to do for me? What do you bring to the table? That's like dating, right? That's what dating is. You're just sitting, you're hanging out, you're eating a nice meal, whatever you're doing, and you're getting to know one another. You're feeling each other out. It's like when two boxers are in the ring. The first couple of rounds, they're feeling each other out, couple jabs, testing each other. That's level one. That's the first gateway, right? The second gateway is, okay, I meet your needs, you meet my needs. So as I scratch your back, you scratch my back. It starts becoming transactional. And the reason is because there's a deeper principle about family being the business and love being the law. But we'll get into that in another episode probably, but just to kind of plant a seed. But that second level is where we get stuck, man. Like people who have trouble with sales are usually stuck in level two because they want the sale so bad. They just like, I need this person to buy, I need this sale. And then they go in with that energy. So what's coming out is, oh, this guy wants my money. And they start, backing off a little bit. So if you think about the relationship with your spouse or your significant other out there, it's the same thing. Your value systems are tested in level two, and you get to see how the other person interprets love, reacts to it, interprets anger and aggression and reacts to it. You get to see a lot of this dynamic, and that's why it's transactional. But what happens is when you get stuck here, you start to superimpose your values onto someone else's actions. So I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client, her and her significant other, right? They were living together. He's a blue collar guy, cool dude. So what he would do, he'd make sure her car is always detailed, make sure the landscaping is done, build things for that. Like that, that's just how he expressed love. But for her, she was like, I don't need that. I can pay somebody to do that. What I need from you is to give me time and attention, to come out and do things with me, to socialize, because she liked to entertain. But that wasn't him, you know what I'm saying? But they did a lot of good for each other. So because he did good, she stayed and she did good, and vice versa. But their values were not aligned. You know what I'm saying? So that's level two. And it's the same with customers, right? Like you have those legacy customers, and you'll find that it's never a case of transaction. It moves to the third level, right? So I'll segue into that. And the third level is your needs are my needs. It's now where it's not about you anymore. It's not about, oh, well, you got to do this for me and that for me because of X, Y, and Z. No, it's what do you need? And you'll notice your best customers, your best relationships, the family members you get along with, the friends in your circle, ain't nobody looking for nothing from you. They're looking to bring value and add value into your life. That's level three. And a lot of times we try and skip to level three without going through one and two. That's where you have a lot of marital issues, right? Why the marriage rate is so low in this country is like, I think 65-70% of marriages now end in divorce.
It's very high. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But this is where a lot of toxicity comes in, is because we're trying to jump, but we don't understand. It's like degrees, man. Like it, relationships and anything that you want to do has a level of degrees, and it's not just learning specific things about a person or specific activity. It's really about going deep and understanding the breadth and the depth of the thing, right? So when we're talking about going through those steps, like me and my wife, we had a long engagement. I mean, a long courtship and a short engagement. I was firm on that. We dated for 5 years before I proposed, but we were only engaged for 6 months. We got married.
You
Boom.
knew.
That's it. Because I don't got to propose and wait. I made the decision. Now it's just about execution.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing. It's that courtship period. We went through breakups. We went through arguing. We went through figuring ourselves out, figuring each other out. And we did all that without the contract. And now we got the contract. And now it's like, the difference is night and day. Like, I don't question like I used to question, right? And I know part of that was me, right? But, I don't question like I used to question with her. Like, it's just such a sync, you know what I'm saying?
So it went past the courtship, to each other's values, and being able to identify each other's values and speak each other's love languages.
Yep.
And then when you speak each other's love language, you can give selflessly.
Absolutely.
So is
absolutely
that's the third level, is giving selfless, like not being.
It's not about you. It's not about what you give. It's about being obsessively curious about the other person.
So what do they need?
What do they need?
Got you. It's two different verbs.
Yeah, because that level you're talking about is still a level 2 activity, because you're like, all right, you're meeting my needs. I need you to keep meeting my needs so that I can continue to meet your needs.
I thought that was more of level 1, because with level 1, that's transaction. That's courtship. That's courtship. My bad. Yeah.
No, so level one is, you meet my needs.
Yeah.
But you're not giving anything in return. This is, I need to see who you are. I need to see what you're about.
Yeah.
That's dating, because you're both guarded. You're putting your best foot forward.
Gotcha.
Then when that starts to come down, that's now level 2, because you're learning, you're testing each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. You're meeting my needs. Okay. I'll meet your needs. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, I see now. Yeah. I see now. So just being, like you said, being obsessed with that other person's needs. So
that's it.
When you're in sales, then it's all about, how can I serve this person? What can I do to serve? How can I make this person's better? What positive results can I get for this potential client?
Yeah. I mean, it's, it even gets more basic. Like, if you want to know what your client wants for lunch, go ask them. That, it's just real basic. I mean, that's what obsessive curiosity looks like. Like, it's not a thing you got to go out and learn a program to do. It's something we're born with, but we forget to use it. Or as we grow up, we kind of age out of curiosity for some reason. But that's really, it's as basic as that. And then letting your brain do what your brain does. Because you'll see, when you just take yourself out of the equation and start asking yourself, like when we did the avatar activity yesterday, like you just go and you ask this avatar, where does it hurt? What is it that you're trying to do? Like, what's your, and like you see on Facebook, right? But like these questions, like, what's your biggest challenge right now? Like, what is it that you want to fix, right? It sounds so basic and cliche, but it's, asking people those questions and giving the opportunity for them to express themselves fully is so liberating. Like, you'd be surprised.
When I first got into network marketing, all they did was say, here's the product, here's the presentation, go present, go ask as many people as possible. And then someone at the higher level said nothing about the presentation. He said, the thing that I do most is I listen. And I never got that until I started my own business. Because if I listen, I can see what problems that I can help that person solve, what they need. and how I can
Absolutely.
serve them. And then it's just about
Absolutely.
putting my product in those places where they're hurting the most.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that right there, what you touched on, that's the skill set. So it's a skill set I call being a curious consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's so just a little preview. It's another program I'm developing. It's like level 3. So it's how to now go from, being an expert to entrepreneur.
This guy's a
But
beast.
listen, no, but I'm telling you, man, because it's real stuff, man. Like what you're talking about. I mean, that skill set, if you can make that habit, you can solve problems for anyone, which means you got an endless supply of customers. If you look at it from a business perspective, otherwise you got a limitless supply of potential friends, right? Whether they're like what they say, like single serving friends, like in Fight Club, remember that? Like whether it's your single serving friend that you got for a few minutes or people that you're friends for years with, you know what I'm saying? It's really being open and listening, right? And the curious consultant, like I talk about one of those concepts, which I got from another mentor of mine, but it's that love is the law and family is the business, right? It's learning how to, and I use this term loosely, but how to monetize each gateway of a relationship. Like you can, for example, let's take it from a business perspective and then we'll bring it into the family dynamic if that's all right.
Go for it.
But yeah, man, from a business perspective, like level 1 is getting to know each other. Like lawyers charge by the hour for that, to get to know you. We give it away for free, right? Not, but not understanding that some interactions people need to pay for. So if somebody wants me one-on-one coaching, trust me, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But what I can promise you is a phenomenal result, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like the reason I can do that is because I've mastered the skill of solving problems, asking really good questions and working with you to find solutions. And it's opened avenue. Just being curious has opened avenues for me. Like, I've been, before I even made my first few sales, I had equity in the business. I didn't know what that was, right? But like, hey, you want a few shares and we'll just keep you on the advisory board. I'm like, man, hell yeah. So I started doing that and I'm like, oh, that's really, and I started learning, right? And then getting my own clients and things like that. But long story short, when you can master that skill set, like, trust me, it's like your potential, whether you're talking about work or whatever, is limitless. So, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Level 1. I apologize.
You're fine.
I get a little excited with this information.
I see you, bro. I see you. Let's go.
On my life right here. But anyway, so level 1. So getting to know you, you can monetize that, but not all currency is money. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So like you can, like I use the word monetize loosely again, but it's understanding the exchange, right?
Yes.
It's reciprocity. You're giving them something and then you get something, right? So friendships, here's a good example. So a friend is when someone who invests in someone else without looking for a return, but there is always a return on investment. So you're not you don't do anything looking for a return, but just by association, there are things that transfer over, networks, right? Resources, another brain, right? Another ear, right? I mean, that's the exchange. It's not about, you being greedy. It's just, this is the nature of the exchange. And if you're not purposeful on who you let past gateway 1, you're in for a lot of issues. Gateway 1 is your opportunity to test the waters. Like for me to work with me, there's an application process, right? Like to work with me, either group coaching or individual coaching. Because I don't take just anybody, only because there are just some things like I can't do. Right. So I'm not going to make promises I can't keep.
I see. Good stuff.
So yeah. So it lets the other person know, okay, these are my boundaries. This is what you can get within these boundaries. And then now, okay, let's see what you got. And then go from there. Now, so you can monetize that. Like I said, level 2. Now, when you're talking about that transactional exchange, this is where you talk about now your low and medium ticket items, right? Even some high ticket, right? Because here, what you're doing is, okay, now you know what their problem is because they told you in Gateway 1, right? You know where they're trying to go. So now you're working together to find solutions. You don't necessarily need to have it figured out. Like you just have to be able to sit with them and find a solution with them. Once you do that, right, you got a service if you didn't have one before. But figuring out the problem, now you got a service. So now that's something that you can take to the marketplace and say, hey, if you give me money, I will give you this service. And now you're a player in Gateway 2 because now you're exchanging with the marketplace. All right. So now the transition into Gateway 3 is now where systems are important. Why? Because if you're doing the marketing, if you're doing the emails, if you're doing the outreach, the sales calls, the fulfillment, the follow-up, the onboarding, everything, you don't have time to be curious. The curiosity demands one thing, and that's space. Like you need to give your mind space to be curious. So I'm sure you've heard of growth and fixed mindset, right? Carol Dweck's work. So, because a mindset is not fixed, excuse me, because a mindset is not fixed, that means that, that means that you can all, man, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No worries. You talking about growth mindset. Before that, you were talking about the third level. You just got into the third level.
Right. Third level. Okay. So it's the systems. Right. Yeah. So the system. Okay. So I'll just get back on that track. Or maybe I'll remember what the point I was trying to make. But that's where you need the systems, because now you need to free up yourself to have the space, to have the time to be able to ask those questions, right? That's when you really get into deep learning. Like deep learning is not in a crammed state, is not in a high stress state. Growth mindset is when you're open to experiences. And that was the point. It's that you're expansive, right? So the cells, when stress hormones are low, their receptors are open. So they're open to the environment and they're taking in nutrients to grow. But once you introduce stress, the receptors close and they go in protection mode, right? So your mindset works the same way, right? If you're under stress, it's going to close down and not let in a lot of information. Versus if you're relaxed, you'll come up with better ideas than what's in most books. Yeah, that's the potential we don't even realize that we have, and it's almost like I say, go return to childhood in a way.
Yeah.
But it's that being in that open space to be able to ask those questions. So you'll notice calmer people tend to make better decisions.
Touche.
Because they're regulating. And that's what it is. It's regulating. That's a different conversation. But anyway, so that third level is now bringing systems into the business to allow you the space to ask your customer better questions, to ask the market questions, ask other entrepreneurs questions, ask mentors questions, ask your employees questions. It's, like that's the magic. Someone once said, the point of financial freedom is to be able to buy your time back.
Amen.
And, I'm with that. But I would also say the point of financial freedom, or at least mental freedom, is giving yourself that time and space to come up with $1 million ideas.
Bruh, you are just giving me so many bars today, dog. Just
Bro,
bars on top of bars on top of bars. God.
Yeah, that's what it's about, bro. But that's level 3, man. See, that's when you have systems, right? And you're at that level. Now you can start talking about these high level masterminds, these, bigger events, retreats. That's when they become the better option, because now you have everything set up through Gateway 1 and 2. So now Gateway 3, it's just about you giving, man, because you're just concerned about, your customer, you're obsessed about them. So now you have an opportunity for them to experience you for a day, 2 days at a time, and just be able to pour into, like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's where the magic is, bro.
So with these systems, it allows you the bandwidth to be able to be curious about how you can make your product or service better, so you can serve and give whatever, not give, but see what was the thing that you said? It wasn't giving, it was just seeing what your client
see
needs.
what they need, being curious about what they need,
and whatever they need, you just give it to them. Hey, dog, we didn't need, like, that is so inspiring that you started out as this kid curious about how you can make money for the fam.
Yeah, man.
And then transitioned over to building a business, and then building more businesses, getting into corporate, and then seeing how you can serve others more and what other people needed, so you can just be the best coach that you can possible, so people can make more money and could transition their lives into whatever they want it to be. That is an outstanding story, man.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I mean, there's more to it, but I know with time and everything, but yeah, man, it's a lot, bro. But yeah, man, thank you. Appreciate giving me the opportunity to tell it, but I know there's more to come.
Oh, for sure. You got so much knowledge in there. You just gave us the tip of the iceberg. That's the crazy part about this, ladies and gentlemen. He has so much knowledge, and I just appreciate every bit of knowledge that you have been giving me. And I'm so blessed that you're on the podcast, because here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. And that technique is a neuro linguistic programming technique called mental and emotional release. Now, for those who don't know what neuro linguistic programming is, it is a mental martial art where you have multiple techniques that help you communicate with your heart and your subconscious mind in order to get what you desire. And I want to let you know, Emilio, that I am not a psychiatrist or a therapist or a counselor or a social worker or none of that. I'm just an alternative to all of those amazing resources. Absolutely. And today you wanted to release the fear of success. So please tell us about your fear of success.
Sure. So one of the, I guess, blowbacks of kind of living my life the way I have, right, and being obsessively curious is that, at least for me, I've always felt that I had to figure it out, and it not so much put on a show, but that I had to just convey excellence in everything that I did, right? So it's like I had to be not just, I didn't just have to get the job, I had to be the best at the job. I didn't just start a coaching program, I wanted to be the best coaching program out there and solve problems as quickly as possible, right? But now I've reached a plateau, because now I see other entrepreneurs, right? And I see how they're moving and what they're doing. But I'm noticing I'm still holding on tightly to some of the work, right? So, and my thought process is that I'm holding myself back because of what releasing that work and releasing those things could potentially bring. And that is scary as hell.
So releasing the work as far as delegating, is that what you're saying?
It's delegating, but it's really like emotionally disconnecting from the work. You know what I mean? Like, so how do I explain it? Like sales, right? Like I'm not comfortable giving someone else the reins on my sales.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's a personal thing. It's because, and I know this is like kind of a no-no in sales, but I try to give a transformation on the call. Just a quick transformation, just so they could kind of experience what it's like to work with me. And a lot of the sales folks say that you shouldn't do that at all. But so it's more personally gratifying for me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I know that letting go of that will free me up to do bigger things.
So you're wanting to clear out your bandwidth so you can expand your level 3.
Exactly.
Now, with the fear of success, so it's not. I'm thinking about all the different fears. So you saying it's the fear of success because you think if you get too big, then
I'm not going to do some of the pieces that I love to do. Because it's not that, like, there are things that I hate that I could delegate, right?
yeah,
What you hate is easy to delegate, you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? But it's the things that you don't, but that you know you should. You know, so I like getting on sales calls. I like talking to people. I like, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
You know, and fine, that could be me, but I'm a tinkerer, bro. Like, I'm an architect by nature, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love building, bro. Like, I like being in the boardroom with people, even if it's one-on-one with people, and strategizing and figuring it out and then carrying it through to execution. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I have to weigh my options, right? Because both of those I'm gonna have to let go of eventually. Because I should be able to train people or hire people who know how to do those things to just be my proxy so that I could actually lead the organization or do, you know what I'm saying?
But 100%. And what you said earlier just makes so much sense that if you have in systems for you to be able to train them, then there is no issue.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So the fear of success comes from the fact that it's a fear that you're going to not appreciate your business as much if you're not doing the things that you
that's a great question.
Or
No, so it's not so much the appreciation. It's like I'm letting the business down. That's what it feels like. Like, if I'm not doing these things, like I'll be letting the business down. And I know so to be more successful, like, I have to let go of those things. But I feel if I stop doing those things, it's like I'm letting the business down.
I think it's a fear of failure, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a fear of success.
Gotcha.
Fear of success is like, I'm gonna get so big. It's like with fear of success, what I usually see is someone goes from 6 figures to 7, but they don't know how to handle the 7. Subconsciously, they don't know how to handle 7. They get that fear of heights, and then they'll go back to 6 and maybe even 5. You see?
Got you.
So I mean, so in these words, so like what I see from you is it's not that you're afraid of the heights that you'll have. It's not about the money or the whatever. It's not about you being too busy or anything like that. It's about, man, I'm letting go of something, and if I drop the ball somewhere, if someone drops the ball somewhere, I'm letting the business down. Does that sound? Yeah. It's a fear of failure, and I know, like, it's not about you being afraid to fail as far as an entrepreneur, and I find like seeing new things and trying new things. Of course, that's what we do as entrepreneurs, but this is your baby as well. Curiosity led, man. That's
right.
That's like yours.
It's my life's work, bro.
Yes.
Evolving. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
for sure.
For you to let something go, it's something that where a bit of fear can be right there. I understand. So, like, how has it held you back within your business at all?
Definitely hiring the people that, or no, even more basic, like even making the time to map out the systems. It's like at the most basic. Like, I have some systems mapped out, like things that are critical that I could delegate. But yeah, it's like for those pieces, okay, so my sales process, right? Like, I got the basic skeletons of it. I know how to onboard a client, right? But yeah, like that puppy's in my head, you know, like the way my conversations go, the cues I listen for, you know, things like that. But to be honest, I mean, I haven't really sat down to document that process so that someone can step in and do it.
Understood.
You know, and that's not just with that, that's with multiple things in the business. You know what I'm saying?
Those systems that you're kind of procrastinating on.
Yes, sir.
That's when, right? You already know there's a fear when you start procrastinating on something.
Yep.
I got a question for you.
Yep.
How much do you think it's costing you?
Man, if I'm honest with myself, probably like $80K a month.
A month
at least.
Holy shit.
Listen, you know the game, you know what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if you got the systems in place, you got a dope product, you got good marketing.
Yeah.
it's in there. I mean, it's doable, like I know my products work, I've tested them on many people. Like, I know they work.
Yeah.
It's, but it's a matter of now taking that next step. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that, yeah, man, that's that piece. That's that piece.
Bruh, we gotta let this go right now.
Yeah, man.
Are you ready? You ready to drop your baggage?
Man, hell yeah, bro.
Let's go. All right. With the mental and emotional release process, you got 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to use your imagination. Number 2, you need to follow directions.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you need to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide, and I come here with love, and I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly.
All right. Sounds good.
We created your timeline. Your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. If you were to know, where's your past?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your past?
Behind me.
Where's your future?
In front of me.
That's what's up. So let's get into it. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this fear of failure today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
It is. Absolutely.
What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you first had the fear of failure?
I don't know the age, but I know the event. And this was probably between 8 and 10 years old sometime, but I know the event.
Perfect.
That good enough?
Yeah, that's good enough.
All right. You want me to tell you the event?
Yes.
Or just hold it? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a few years after my mother and father split up, and I was a kid, and somebody had come to the house either to collect a bill. I don't know. It was some man, but he was angry. And my mom pushed me in front of him as a little kid. She said, well, go defend me. You're the man of the house. And that was the first time that I can remember feeling like that. Like, if I don't do something,
right,
I'm gonna let the house down. Like,
yes.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That had to be the first time I felt that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
You could probably still feel that one. I was like, dang.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, you see me looking like inside I'm glazing over, bro. Like, that one is like, yeah, bro. Yeah, I haven't thought about that in years, man.
I got you. But that's where a lot of, like, with the root, with negative emotions and limiting beliefs, you got to pull them out by the root. What I mean by that is you got to go back to that first event. It's just like a weed. If you chop a weed off at the top, or even if you chop the weed off at the base of the ground, right where the soil is, you're not going to get rid of the root. Or I'm sorry, you're not going to get rid of the weed. You got to pull it out by its root in order to get rid of it permanently.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we about to do. All right, man. This is a simple, systematic, guided meditation. So you can go ahead and close your eyes, relax, and let me know when you're ready to drop your baggage.
Good to go.
All right. Now, just imagine floating up above yourself as if though you were a spirit or energy, and just see yourself right here from a third person point of view. See your black shirt and your headphones, your speaker. If there's a window around, see that. Your chair, the screen in front of you. If there's a door, well, there's got to be a door around. Ask yourself, what color is the floor, right? Let me know when you can see yourself in the whole event.
All right, I got it.
All right. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt that fear of failure when you were just a little boy with your mom and that angry man, and hover above that event, looking at that event from a third person point of view, being the observer. Don't move. Let me know when you're above that event.
I'm there.
Stay right there. Don't move. Hover over that event and just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event. The learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. This is an exercise of forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiveness for yourself and others and acceptance of yourself and others. Who do you have to forgive? What do you have to accept? Who do you have to accept? Focus your attention upon how hurt people hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser and learn from people's actions and mistakes. Other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It's only a reflection of their baggage and whatever they're going through at the time. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. You're a better person than you were when those events occurred. Very importantly, what is something positive and empowering you can tell that little boy, your mom, and even that angry man with the consciousness that you have today that would allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone. Take your time.
Yeah, man. Good.
Awesome. Now, with your eyes closed and you hovering above that event, tell us, what'd you learn from the event?
So I learned that, starting with my mother, that she felt abandoned, right? She has her own issues. And whatever was going on, she needed to feel safe, and she didn't feel safe. As for the man, I can't remember why he was angry. But the lesson there for me is that sometimes you won't know why people are triggered the way they do. But that shouldn't deter you from doing what you have to do, right, and playing your position. For me as a young man, to first forgive my mother and understand that she's trying to feel safe. And I have to forgive myself, knowing that I was in no position to keep her safe as a grown-ass man, but understand that with whatever I had, I did the best that I could to be the best man I could be in that situation. Even though I was a little kid, still, I was the man of the house. So I did the best that I could, and it was good enough because my mom's still here and we're all okay. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is a lesson that you can take from that situation and take forward with you into the future to make you a better person?
That my ideas are good enough. So, for example, the company doesn't need me in every seat. It needs me at the brain center. It needs me to be I don't call myself a chief executive officer. I'm a chief curiosity officer. So allow me to really step into that role and ask bigger and better questions and be able to serve more and serve better. But first I have to accept that what I'm doing is good enough, and that I'll grow.
That's right.
That kid.
Just like that kid.
I will grow. And not every customer will be happy, and not every team member will be happy, but whatever the reason, the mission must continue. And I got to play my position and fulfill my purpose in this world, and understand that some people just want to feel safe. And safety, if you go to, just basic needs, it's about having your foundational needs met, like, food, shelter, clothing, all that stuff. But once you have that, you have to start thinking about impact, right? And that's the piece I feel that I can teach my mother, right? Like in that situation, is the impact of what you do, what you say, or that you put on people. And I think the the better we can do that, the more of service we can be, and just the better experiences we'll have in general.
Amen. That's a great one, dog. It's a great one. All right. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
I'm there, bro.
All right. Now, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Now, just imagine floating there, weightless, in space, and ask yourself now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now,
Man, they're gone. They're miles away.
awesome. Now, just imagine floating down inside the event, seeing through your own eyes as a little kid and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now,
They're there, but it's different. It's there's more gratitude there for the experience.
do you still feel the fear of failure?
No,
Awesome.
no, just a lot of gratitude.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper into the past above the dinosaurs and then float into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt the fear of failure, from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event. Preserve the learnings and let go of that fear of failure all the way back to now. Go. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt that fear of failure, just like when you did that with the first one. Just like what you did with the first one, go above each and every event in which you felt that fear of failure, preserve the learnings. And just like what you did with that first one, let go of that fear of failure all the way back to now. And don't come back to now until that fear of failure is all gone. And when it's all gone, you let me know. Take your time. Take your time. You got time.
All right.
Awesome. Float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, man. No, I was good, man. I was good.
What was good about it?
I released a lot of things that I didn't even see there. I wasn't cognizant of it. So, for example, like that fear of failure. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even. I jump into things like face first, you know. So I'm like, didn't even think of it, but now going back, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I like floating above everything and just seeing everything in that small perspective. It's a small perspective from the vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
It was good, just like to put in realistic terms. It's really just a blip, but preserve the learnings, you know. And just having an opportunity to go back to that event and talk to everyone involved was super, super helpful.
Wow. I felt that.
Yeah.
Was anything challenging to you?
Not so much challenging. Just the first time around, the fear was still there, but there was gratitude for it. You know, like I like looking back, I'm glad I experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that was I guess the only part, but it wasn't like a challenge. It was just something to point out.
Yeah. I was just like, I had a person to give me some feedback, and he told me that we don't know if this is like BS or not. The audience doesn't know. Some of the audience members don't know if this like, is this really real? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like challenge to see like any different holes. As I digress.
Got you.
Do you smell bacon?
Nope, no bacon.
Okay. I asked you that. I asked you that to take your mind off the meditation. So
Very good.
can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Yeah, no.
You seem surprised.
That's crazy. Yeah, because no, there are a few moments in my life where I know I felt it, but I don't feel it. Like when I'm imagining it, putting myself in it, like I don't feel it. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
How would it feel before, like physically or mentally, emotionally?
Yeah, no, definitely visceral, and it's like right in my chest when I think about it. Like that rock in the chest. But now it's like it's not like that. As I can think about the event
Mm-hmm.
and feel good about it.
Mm.
Actually,
You have a deep sense of gratitude.
cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
So the other test is I want you to imagine going out into the future to an unspecified time in the future, in which if it would have happened in the past, you would have felt the fear of failure. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
So in the future, something that would have triggered the old emotion.
Yes.
That's good. No, that's good. I put myself somebody else on my sales calls and I was fine with it.
Why is that? What's your mindset about it now?
They're gonna make mistakes, man.
Mm-hmm.
There are gonna be some customers that aren't gonna be happy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not gonna know why. And people are gonna come wanting to feel safe and wanting to do all wanting to find a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they do their best, they'll be all right.
Right.
It's the same lessons I learned.
Yeah. When you were
Hey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. That's really good.
Is there anything like so? This seems shocking to you. Why is it so shocking?
It's just because it was there and now it's not there. I mean, it's the only way to put it. It's like I was sitting and think about it, and it was these like they were things that I'd have to power through and really like force myself to focus because I don't want to feel that feeling. So now the feeling isn't there. It's like not associated with the event. It's weird.
Wow.
It's yeah.
Wow. Some people on that are listening to this podcast have never been through it. So like, can you describe any different aspect that we haven't already gone over before that you haven't, said yet?
Yeah, just all I would say with any NLP work or any inner work you're doing, you have to take a chance and do it. Like there's no way to describe it. Like I can tell you, I don't feel the feeling associated with the event, and you could take me at my word, but the best way to learn is to do it. You have to go through the eye of the needle, as they say. Right? It's one of those things. I mean, I recommend it. It's like this particular thing has been bothering me for a long time.
How long?
Oh, years, man, years.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop me from performing, but it does hold me back from performing at the next level potential that I know I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like it's been consistent there, but now it's just the thing. It's just do the thing. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just do the thing.
So now, with this limiting belief or this fear being gone, where do you see yourself going in the future?
Well, in the very near future is relaunch my podcast. So that's coming November 1st. Push it back November 1st. Relaunching the podcast. Finishing up the programs. I have a couple more modules for one, and then I just finished the outline for the other. Third one's almost done, so I got to get those done, and then while I'm doing that, hire the other folks because I should be selling it while I'm making it. No sense in waiting. So
as a wise man once said, "Come on now,
right?
Come on now."
Oh man, there you go. Oh, it's too funny.
Oh my gosh. Hey, you in beast mode on that, man. Great job, bro.
Man, that was good. I'm telling you, for real, for everybody who's listening, I mean, If you could have your beliefs, but what I say is try it.
Mm.
Just go to a certified practitioner, like Charles said earlier. Just do it. Just do it. Like it's
Hey.
not therapy. It's not none of this woo woo shit. It's really like y'all don't realize what I just did right now. Like I went years into the past, and I've done a similar exercise with clients. That's the thing. But once you go through it, like when you can go back and have those conversations and have that led by a professional, it's like it's a whole different experience. Change your life, man. I'm telling you. Change your whole life.
You're awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment. Like I said before on a lot of other podcasts, I am hitting people up randomly and just like asking, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And you showed up for your divine appointment. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, please give the audience one more bit of wise words that you've already given. Jeez.
Man, listen, what I could tell you is a couple things. One is always be mindful of your gateways, right? Your gateway 1, 2, and 3. And just to stay curious. There are so many one-liners, I guess I could throw up, but really that's it. Is just stay curious, man. There's so much world out there, so much to experience, so much untapped potential or resource you have inside yourself. Just stay curious, my friend. Stay curious.
Hey, tell everybody where to find you at, bro.
Sure. So you can find us online at curiosityled.com, Curiosity Led Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. I can find us on Facebook at Curiosity Led and IG and Curiosity Led. Try to get on Twitter, but yeah, me and Twitter, we don't get along right now, but I'm gonna make my way to Twitter.
100. Once again, thank you so much, Emilio, and thank you all out there for your attention and support and love. You know, I appreciate and love all you guys out there. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you're on a podcast, give a brother 5 stars and give me some feedback. But until next time, please take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.